Today, we're asking AI to design a 401k plan, and then we're going to review it. And do you think it got a passing grade, dear?
On the surface, it looks good, except that everything below it is kind of nonsense.
It was a free version of ChatGPT, and I believe the prompt was run in April of 2026. We'll run the prompt, walk through the AI's answer line by line, and tell you, as TPAs, retirement plan consultants, who've administered thousands of plans, what's right, what's missing, and what could have cost this business owner. This is the prompt we used.
So, I'm the owner of a small landscaping company with 8 full-time employees. I want to set up a 401k plan that lets me contribute as much as possible for myself while keeping employer costs reasonable. I make about $200,000 per year. Can you design the best retirement plan for my business? Or, my situation.
Now then, the ChatGPT response. Great question. Based on your situation, here's a recommended 401k plan design. Recommended plan, Safe Harbor 401k with profit sharing. Okay, so far, not bad.
Second line's okay. Yeah.
Employee deferrals. Okay, when was this prompt run?
April of 2026.
Very, very important for some upcoming stuff. Employee deferrals. You can defer up to $23,500 for 2025 if you're 50 or older at a $7,500 catch-up.
Bing, 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 bing. 2025's over.
2025's over. All right. We have 2 things wrong here. We're going to say them now, although we're going to dive into them a little bit more later on. It's 2026 with a different deferral, and it's making design suggestions without knowing how old this person is. Safe Harbor contribution. Use the 3% non-elective Safe Harbor, contribute 3% of compensation for all eligible employees. This automatically passes non-discrimination testing, so you can max out your own deferrals without restriction.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 95%. I mean, it's not, no, it's...
Those things are true. Are they appropriate?
Right.
That's always the question.
The statement
This is true.
correct. Right. But...
Will it work in this situation?
Profit sharing. Add a discretionary profit sharing contribution of up to 25% of your W-2 compensation. This can bring your total annual contribution up to the $70,000 Section 415 limit for 2025.
It's still 2026.
It's still 2026. And when did the prompt say W-2? It didn't. We're going to get to that more in a little bit here. All right.
Once again, it is true. You can do 25% of your W-2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Estimated employer cost. 8 employees with an average salary of $45,000. Well, he did say landscaping business times 3% equals approximately $10,800 a year. I didn't double check the math on that. I think that seems about right, though. All right. This setup allows you to maximize your retirement savings while maintaining a competitive benefit. No. This safe harbor provision simplifies compliance. All right. Note, consult a financial advisor before implementing any retirement plan. Who do financial advisors go to figure out how to design these things? Yeah.
And really, the role of your financial advisor is to help you on investing.
Round one. What it
one.
got right. All right. Yeah. So we've kind of given some of the answers away.
Okay.
Safe harbor 401k. Is that a legitimate recommendation, Catherine?
Well, it is. It does keep a lot of people out of trouble.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. Okay,
Right.
Give it credit. It did get the correct deferral limit for 2025.
And it usually goes up. So, I mean,
And
you're not
it
over.
did mention catch-up is for 50 and older.
Yeah.
Okay. It did correctly say that the 3% non-elective safe harbor is valid, and it does satisfy ADP testing. $70,000 was the correct Section 415 limit for 2025.
4 things right is a
Right-ish.
start.
Yeah.
But the question is on your taxes. Do you only want 4 things right?
I don't know how many.
Most of us want everything right.
Now then, round 2. What it never asked. Catherine, What is the stated entity type for this plan sponsor?
God knows.
We have no idea.
It's between the owner and God.
Right. Was it an S Corp? Was it an LLC? So basically, it assumed W-2. Now, why this matters, if the owner takes $200,000 as a distribution, not W-2, the math doesn't work. Profit sharing is based on W-2 comp for S Corps. And then, if you can over-contribute, there is an excise tax. The second part that it did not ask, employee demographics. How old are your employees? How many hours do they work? Did they all get hired yesterday, or have they been with you for more than a year? Also, what's really important, Catherine? How old is the
owner? Yeah.
How old is the owner?
Yeah.
Okay. So why this matters? Part-time employees may need to be included. Secure 2.0 rules. Yes, that's your long-time part-time employees, and yeah, you don't have to give them an employer contribution, but the question needs to be asked. Now then, one missed employee can break a safe harbor plan. Now you're going to need to put more money in.
And can I say, sometimes I've seen you do things with the ketchup.
Right.
Ketchup, you can do some really great things with ketchup in terms of corrections and how you do
Right.
it. So having an older employer could help in certain scenarios.
Ooh,
Because you could make some of their stuff ketchup.
Well, I don't know that we mentioned this when we did rehearsal, but it did not talk about HPIs and mandatory Roth. Nope, it did not, because it thought it was 2025.
Super ketchup, it tells you to pound sand.
Wow.
Me and Scott had to have like a 20-minute conversation about it.
So,
Okay,
Zach, make a graphic of AI pounding sand. Okay. Now then, so an existing plan, is it a simple IRA? Is there a SEP? Was there a prior plan? Okay. The way the prompt was worded, it's reasonable to assume that there is not an existing ERISA plan, but if
It
they have
didn't ask.
it didn't ask. There's the simple IRA. We've got a conversion this year. It didn't ask if it had a SEP, okay? Because maybe all the employees are new and the person thought they could do a SEP, but if they've made, anyways, it needs to know. Now there are transition and successor plan rules apply, and if you've done a SEP for this year, you can't have a 401k plan. Some other things, okay? Some other things, number 4, compensation assumptions. AI assumed $45,000 was the average salary for 8 full-time employees that have hung around with a landscaping company. Isn't somebody going to be making more?
Well, yeah, if you just guess based off of averages, you get an average answer.
Right.
Now
the key takeaway. The AI designed a plan without asking for the inputs a retirement plan consultant, a TPA, is going to require before touching a plan document. All right, so some of these we've said already, but we're going to really harp on what it got wrong. Round 3, contribution math. What it did was it implied this plan could have a $23,500 contribution plus a 25% profit sharing contribution, presumably of $50,000, which would get that person to $73,500, which is more than 70. Okay, so that's a problem. It did not mention that catch-up contributions for those 50 and older are above the wrong 415 limit. That was not mentioned. Now then, the part that really annoys me, which is the politest word I can say, it only gave a 3% employer contribution to the staff while giving the owner, best case, giving the owner more than 23% contribution to the owner. Nope. Minimum is going to be 5% of the staff. Why, dear? What's the little thing called? Do you remember what this is? Gateway. If the employer contribution to a highly compensated employee is 15% or more, the staff all needs to get at least 5%. He still got some other things wrong, but so automatically passes testing. This is incomplete. Catherine, what does Safe Harbor cover?
it covers one test,
Which is?
the ADP ACP.
Right. Okay. It does not cover coverage testing. Does it cover top-heavy testing?
Nope.
No. Does it cover 415 limit testing?
Nope.
Does it cover any other non-discrimination testing?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. All right. Now then, there's no plan document discussion. Who drafts it? What financial advisor do you know? No offense, guys. This is why we love you. What financial advisor do you know can draft a plan document? Okay? Who's the provider? What's the cost? Didn't mention new plan tax credits or anything else.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because you could actually save some money by doing it the right way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
Isn't that, no, just let that settle for a minute. Just settle.
you can save some money by doing it the right way. Oh my God, yes. You can't just decide to implement a plan. A little bit more work than that. All right. Also, number 4, wrong professional guidance. Consult a financial advisor. There are many, 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 many valid reasons to consult with a financial advisor or financial professional. Drafting a plan document is not one of them. In reality, you need at least your friendly neighborhood TPA, your friendly neighborhood retirement plan consultant, maybe an ERISA attorney, depending on what's going on. If we're looking at a cash balance plan, we're going to need to rope in an actuary on top of that. A financial advisor cannot draft or administer a qualified ERISA plan. They come to us for guidance and advice, and probably most of the people watching this video are financial advisors. Now then, what happens if you act on this? Scenario number 1. It's an S-Corp owner, but what if they're only making $80,000 in W-2 with $120,000 in distributions? Happens all the time. Result, you're gonna be at least $10,000 with over contributions. Now, there was a time we used to have a lot of CPAs in the Rockies tell me someone was making $500,000. They're making, yeah, how much are they making? Well, they're making $500,000. And then I get the census, and their W-2 was $45,000. We can only do plan design based on the W-2, not the mythical $500,000. Scenario number 2, were there seasonal employees with or without prior service? Didn't ask. And did say it was a landscaping company, and that happens a lot. Now then, maybe 2 should have been eligible, but were excluded. All right, the result, the plan's going to fail coverage testing. All right, now then, there's real consequences here. There's going to be plan amendments after the fact, corrective distributions or corrective something or other, perhaps IRS VCP filings. None of this is cheap or fast. Now then, so what's your key
certainly
insight?
Cheaper if you do it ahead of the IRS finding that you screwed
do it right
up.
the first time, right? So, Catherine, what's our key insight here?
The risk isn't that AI is wrong. It's just it sounds confident about things it can't actually know.
Nope. All right.
So it said a lot of things that really are on the surface correct, right?
Right. It said
But there was zero
one thing
context.
that was correct, but then it said another thing that was correct, but maybe not in relationship to thing 1. They all have to be correct. Okay? Now then, if you would like to learn more, and we sure hope you do, especially if you're a financial professional or a CPA, we have a monthly webinar that goes deeper into compliance questions about 401k plans and cash balance plans, and I think 403b is this month, etc. And if this was useful, our podcast and other channels are linked below as well. How do they get in touch with us, dear?
Well, it's sales@hunterbenefits.com, which is an email address.
It's not a phone number. Okay? Love you, babe. All right. Like, subscribe.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. All right. Cheerio. Thanks for watching.
Take care.